Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle May, the founder of Am I Hungry? Mindful Eating Programs and Training, and the author of the Eat What You Love, Love What You Eat book series. I want to thank all of you who participated in our recent survey and shared your two greatest eating challenges. I read each and every one of them, and I felt so connected to each and every one of you since I could relate to much of what you shared. You see, for those of you who don't know, I struggled with disordered eating from the time I was an early teenager all the way through high school, college, medical school, and into my medical practice. So that is why I care so much about helping you resolve the biggest challenges you have with eating. As I read through all of your challenges, I noticed that there were certain patterns. So the next few videos are going to give you a tool for each of the major challenges that I noticed. So let's start with the first one, which is learning to trust your body wisdom. What am I talking about? Well, every one of us was born with the instinctive ability to manage our eating effortlessly. We knew when we were hungry and we cried to let our caregiver know. We knew when we were full and we would stop eating when we had enough. And we were able to eat the foods that we loved. We didn't feel guilty about it. We didn't obsess about it. We ate and then we played and then we got hungry and we repeated the process over and over again. So, what happened? Why is it that so many of us confuse hunger and all these other reasons that we feel like eating, or have difficulty stopping when we've had enough and eat to the point that we feel stuffed and uncomfortable, or have trouble eating certain foods without feeling like we're going to lose control? Now, how is it that so many of us have unlearned this important skill? Well, it may have happened all the way back when you were a young child. Sometimes parents, trying to do the best they can, make us clean our plate. They reward us with dessert when we finish all our dinner, or they tell us about the starving children in whatever country your parents said they were starving in. And by the way, those kids are still starving, and cleaning our plate didn't help them one bit. But it did cause us to disconnect from our ability to know when we've had enough food. And that's a really important skill to have when you live in an abundant food environment where food is always around the corner 24/7, right? In addition to the messages we may have picked up in childhood, we also start to learn social messages, like what time we're supposed to eat, or what kind of food and how much we're supposed to eat at different meals. And so these kinds of messages are implanted into our whole system of decision making around food. And without realizing it, sometimes they go against our own natural hunger rhythms. Another reason that we don't trust our body wisdom: restriction and deprivation. Usually that takes the form of dieting. Many of us start dieting sometime in our teens or 20s or 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever. And that dieting can disconnect us from our ability to know what our body needs and when. Further, when you're not allowed to eat the foods that you love, or you have to weigh and measure and count them, you begin to place food up on a pedestal. So you think about food frequently, maybe constantly even. And when you finally eat, it's very hard to stop, especially if it's a food that you enjoy, but you've been told you shouldn't be eating. So in this video, I want to give you a very simple tool that will help you reconnect yourself to understanding how hungry you are, how full you are, and help you begin to use your body wisdom again to help you make decisions about when, what, and how much to eat. So this tool is called the Hunger and Fullness Scale. It is literally a scale that goes from 1 to 10. So I want you to picture this. At a 1, that's a very small number. Your stomach is very small. Now, I love visuals when I teach, so I like to use a balloon. So imagine or picture your stomach the size of a balloon. When it's completely empty, no air there, right? No food there, we'll call that a 1. And then you begin to fill your stomach. At the point that your stomach begins to feel satisfied or content, it's not talking to you anymore, that'd be about a 5. If you continue to eat, you begin to feel a little fuller. Maybe you're aware of the food in your stomach. Now you might even start to feel a little uncomfortable. Have you ever said to yourself, I feel like I could pop after eating? That's what a 10 means. Now, I have a lot more that I want to teach you about that, but over the next couple of days, I'd love for you to start noticing how hungry and full you are and see if you can give yourself a number on that hunger and fullness scale. But before I finish, I want to give you 2 other pieces of information that I think will help you. One about being really hungry and one about being really full. So let's start with the famished end of the spectrum. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make is they think when they're really famished or super, super hungry, they need more food than usual. So they'll order or fix themselves or eat twice as much as they would ordinarily eat. And so they go from being uncomfortably hungry to uncomfortably full. Now, think about it. The size of your stomach doesn't change. Being really, really hungry doesn't mean you need more food than usual. It just means that you need to eat soon. And so when you notice that you're that hungry, make a plan, get some food, but eat slowly and stay tuned in to notice when you're starting to feel better and satiated so you don't zoom right past content and back into discomfort again. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, feeling overly full, a lot of people struggle with this. They have trouble stopping eating. Maybe they're not paying attention as they eat, or maybe they're eating something that they don't usually get to eat, or don't let themselves eat, or they think they won't eat it again and they feel guilty. And so they're going to eat it all and then be good tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, you get the idea, right? Eating the right amount of food isn't about being good, it's about feeling good. And it doesn't feel good to fill your stomach so much that it's pressing on your diaphragm and your intestines and your belt buckle. So, moving away from the idea that you have to follow rules or weigh and measure and count your food to really tuning into how your body is feeling, you'll start to adapt your eating so that you'll feel your best. We'll work on this a lot more, but for now, just start to notice how hungry and full you feel before, during, and after eating. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk about fearless eating. I want to talk about the messages that we get around eating that makes food good and bad, and how that actually backfires and causes us to have difficulty knowing when we're hungry and knowing when we've had enough. I'll see you again soon.